PorcFest X proudly presents Ernest Hancock.
You know, I do a radio talk show, and well, before I started doing video, you have live stream and so on. You know, everybody always gets this impression, you know, how tall you are, short you are, heavy, good looking. James, hello. So what happens is they get this impression, and when I was traveling a lot during the 07 to 08 Ron Paul years there, when we were pushing the Levolution and everything, you know, I'd show up and they'd go, that's it? That's all I get? Somehow you seem taller, you know, one of those. Well, fortunately, when James Babb shows up in suit and tie, it's like, yeah, that's what I deserved. that's what I expected. So, you know, I tell you what I'm going to do. How many of you are familiar with Freedom's Phoenix? You kind of go and, you know, how many of you listen to me on the radio more than 3 times? If it was more than 3 times, you know, you get it. But because a lot of times what I do on the radio is I know who my audience is. I mean, you add people and so on, but I know why they're there. It's like, you know, this advocacy for freedom thing, right? So a lot of the people you'll notice that I interview are neocons or progressives, or they're doing good work in their mind. They're not bad people. They just haven't quite figured it out yet that it's not that we really need the government to give us permission to help these other people. Damn it, you know, they're not letting us help people, and we're going, why are you asking permission? I mean, you're killing me. You know, you already lost before you even started, and you're advocating for me to put pressure on the government to be more tolerant of you helping people. I mean, you know, screw them, okay? This mindset of just the illegitimacy of the state is what we're shooting for. Now, I want to make sure that I get an hour, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get this set in the monologue in less than 30 minutes so we can do interaction. Because through that, you know, I know we're going to learn a lot, you know, because a lot of you guys are doing stuff too. You know, I know a lot of you guys, hell, I wish I was some of you guys, okay, without the beard. But so, no, it looks good, though. I really do like it. It's cool. You need to have your own reality TV show. That's how you get it, you marketing son of a bitch. See, you're a smart guy, okay. So what happens is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about the days, you know, in the early days when I was these young guys. So you kind of understand, you know, I can give you all these motivations and everything. I hope it lives, whatever it is. I'm the kind of guy that looks way into the future. And I was thinking grandkids. I mean, literally, my wife and I got married, we wanted to have 4 under 4. We missed it by like a couple of months, you know. We had, you know, 2 boys, 2 girls, ease in and out of high school and college. You start having grandkids, and then we win. Yeah, baby, that's what I'm talking about. I got kids that are good parents that, you know, are not a drain on us or society. You know, they're raising good kids. They're being healthy with everything. They understand the value of not being fed bullshit and believing it. I mean, you know, how much value is that, you know? So they're prepared for life. They got skills. They got a good education. They're giving me grandbabies that I can be a grandparent to and not have to be the parent of. That is a very important part of, you know, having a happy life. So we're at that stage now. But it didn't happen by accident. And the thing is that what I want to instill in you is, you know, time, man, just snapping by. I mean, some of you guys I've known, you know, since 07. You know, you activists really got it. I mean, I could see where you were going. I was always wanting, hey, where can I slap my logo on your butt? You want to get a tattoo or something? I'll pay extra for that. I'll give you $25 for that one. You know, I mean, you know. So we're having whatever I can, you know, be in Silver Circle movie. What can I do to help? You know, Pete Iyer and Adamo and everybody that's, you know, was associated with Motorhome Diaries and Liberty on Tour and, you know, the Free Aid Project and all this stuff, PorcFest. I'm going, yes, what can I do to help? Because I understood that you guys were supporting the same thing that I was. It was a concept, an idea. Is that Wayne? No, you look just like a good friend of mine. I met you before. You know, okay, you reminded me because I don't have my glasses on. This is a good place to start with Wayne. Let me tell you about Wayne. In 1990, by 88, my wife and I start becoming aware things are bad. 1990, okay, fine. I'm going to have to run for office. Nobody else will. So I ran as a write-in just to get standing so I could file a lawsuit with the federal government on 44 election laws that gave special rights or privileges to certain people because they were a member of a Republican or Democratic private club. Now, if you got your Republican card, ooh, you know, then you, or your Democrat card, ooh, you know. So if you get your card, well, then you got special rights or privileges, okay? So I'm going, you know, I got to run against this whole concept, you know, just, you know, I don't care what you vote for or who, it's just that they're eliminating, you know, I understood how they were getting away with all the bad stuff. They eliminated competition before it started. What they did is they go, you may choose from comrade candidate A or fascist candidate B, okay? Let's know how that works out. So I'm like, I'm going after this. And Wayne, yeah, he thought I was going to get back to it. We get down to the point to where Wayne is just a friend of mine. He didn't give two rips about politics, but he was my friend. So he's like, yeah, what are we doing tonight? You know, drinking beer and making signs. Okay, that's what I do. What are we doing tonight? Drinking beer and passing out. Okay. What are we doing tonight? Drinking beer and putting stuff on telephone poles, you know, 40 feet up so they can never get them down, you know, that kind of thing. So we would do that, and he did it as a friend. Later, we're still good friends. 20-something years later, go golf and whatever. He couldn't care less about politics. But he has an opinion. You know, he's definitely got an opinion. But what I could see was not even my friends that I was changing their minds or any of that kind of stuff. What I could see was an end goal of a culture of voluntarism. You know, of this, I always called it leave me aloneism. You know, I'm going to leave me alonist. What are you? I'm going to leave me alonist. You know, you tell me where you get that definition somewhere. And voluntarist, I think that's been well defined. I go, I'm a voluntarist. You know, I still like leave me alonist because, you know, I'm used to it and I know what I defined it. You ask me and I'll tell you all about it. So it's leave me alone is what it is. I mean, seriously. So I wanted to share with you in a real quick, rapid succession, one of the most earliest activist things that we did that I think had the most impact, that I think 20-something years later, we may start to dabble in again, but a little bit differently, integrating with you know, current technology and social networking. So I just left Taryn, that's where I was, is Taryn and Angel were over here talking about social networking and stuff that they were doing. I was very interested in that. So I'm asking them, you know, late into it, and I'm waiting. Well, does anybody want to hear me talk? I thought everybody's leaving. They go, no, you're over there. Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So that's why I was late. But the social networking that we did back then was newspapers. And I remember it was 1992. I had the lawsuit filed in July 91. I ran for state rep as a write-in, or just to get standing to file the lawsuit that I did that went on into 94, and tell you about that. But what happened was, while I was doing all the stuff that I was doing and being active, I remember in 92, it was the Perot years. And people were like, oh, this Perot thing, what about Perot? Oh, let's vote for Perot, let's go do Perot. What's Perot about? I don't give a shit. He's not them. They didn't know what the hell they were doing. So, but I was, you know, in good graces with all these guys because I was advocating for an equal shot to have them on the ballot so I could not vote for them. You know, and I go, I don't give a crap about him. I don't get to have the choice. Seriously, that's not an issue? That's not an issue. I don't get to have the choice. You're not going to give him opportunity to meet and talk to these people and billionaire? Seriously? And he was real famous for, you know, the something of Eagles where they came in and rescued his employees from Tehran when the Shah, you know, fell and all this other stuff. Oh, he's an American, man. He's a hero. Now he's fascist just like everybody else. Later you find out. I'm going to go get him and go into everybody's house and we'll check and see if they got guns and drugs, and then we'll cheer it. Give me the power. Call me Chancellor Perot, okay? So I could see, but I saw in the people the Lovolution that you saw spark. I already saw that. In 92, I saw it up close. I wasn't in it. I'm like, oh, hey, man, I just want to have the show. But I was close enough. And close enough that people on the campaign close enough. Close enough that people that, you know, when they did United We Stand later and all that, was in the middle of, you know, not being in the middle of that. And I could see that it was building up. But what was building up? What's building up? It's a cultural shift. And it was based on simple things like freedom good, government bad, 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 bad. In every way. FDA, you know, environment. You know, the EPA is created to, you know, this is legal pollution no matter how many, you know, headed babies we have, okay? This is legal right here, this number. We've created this number. Yeah, but the damages, that doesn't matter, it didn't reach the number, you know? It's not a pollution thing. Super fun. This happened in Arizona, Motorola. Super fun, super fun. Oh my God, we got to clean it up, bring in the bulldozer, we're all going to die. No, we changed the number. It's up here. It's not that high anymore. We changed the standard. It's okay. Don't worry about it. So I'm going, this is, and what are they based on? Legitimacy? It's like, oh, yes, master, what should I do? I go to the oracle and tell me what it is of the 5 gazillion billion trillion laws, okay? It's just, so they don't matter. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. So how can you instill that into a generation so that when you're a grandfather and you don't want to have to be doing this all the time, that maybe you got a culture that's kind of backing you up in your retirement years. You can chill and enjoy your grandkids and play Aquadome, and trade in silver and get off the man's grid and F you, okay? And I'm fine, and you got real community with real connections with real people, and you solve each other's problems. Why? Because it's in your best interest to, immediately. You know this, and if it's more of a long term, then you've created a community that supports that too, and you get taken care of. I mean, how? I don't know how. You do whatever you want to. It's just that I know you will if you were given the freedom to do it. And that's what Freedom's Phoenix magazine is about. That's more my vision. That's a subscription. That's what we're doing. You want to hear what I think about and how I take in the news, and you made me look. Okay, I look on Freedom's Phoenix, and I go, news. Yeah, they're coming. Yeah, they're still coming. They're coming. Well, they really came there, man. Here they come. So what do? You get ready. But the first thing you get ready with is reaching out and just, educating. Get people to ask the right questions. So how did we do that? In '92, there was another candidate that represented the Patriot Party or something. It was Bo Gritz. Any of you guys ever remember or hear of Bo Gritz? Bo Gritz was the Patriot. He was a Medal of Honor wearing super decorated colonel in Vietnam that, his troops, and he outed everybody. There was a big giant drug cartel that was run by the CIA out of, Vietnam, and he knew General What's-His-Face that was doing deals with What's-His-Name, and, and Daddy Bush was, and everything is just, same old shit, okay? So you go, all right. So he had a lot of attention. Then there's a Natural Law Party, Dr. Hagelin, I think it was, and they were the guys in the middle of Iowa. They had the Transcendental Meditation College of the, it's no place like home. So they're having, but they were, positive thinkers. I'm hip to that. They said, we need the best minds and the most pure hearts to be able to come to a conclusion of how you're going to be ruled. We want to do it right, So it was, and they didn't think that way, but that's what it meant, okay? So it was a lot of these different groups, but Bo Gritz and the Natural Law Party had nice, crisp white paper, and Bo Gritz had the oldest kind of newsprint, so you got to see, you could be somewhere in there between, be pretty good. And it was newspapers, and there were 20-page newspapers, nice graphics and everything. This is before the internet. This is back when you actually did cut and paste and screen things and all this kind of, hard work stuff. When we did papers, it was cut and paste. You kids have no freaking idea, okay? What do you think it says, cut and paste? Why would you cut a computer monitor? I don't know. Why would you cut a computer monitor? I don't know that. So you think I'm kidding, man. So then we found out that they would do these newspapers, and it was $800 for 4,000, okay? Or 1,000, it was 8,000, no, it was 8,000 for $400. That's what it was. So 8,000 for $400. Anyway, it came to a couple of cents. It was under a nickel. So I'm going, those sons of bitch, lamestream media, the media that's so last century, okay? That's what I see with technology. But back then, you had to compete with them. It was just getting paper in front of people's faces, made you look. Good graphics made you look. Good headline made you look. Something that's going on in the news, this is the truth, made you look. I made you look. And if I give you some good information, you might look again. It's all about credibility. So I understood that back then. I go, you lying sacks of snot. When you cost, like an '08 comes, and this even before then, we're going look, the end is nigh. The finances is coming. Arizona's gone through this financial bubble housing thing before. It's called Resolution Trust Corporation, late 80s, early 90s. Some of the older guys might remember this, And, the thing, same thing, except it was $600 billion. Oh, my God, $600 billion. Hell, now we wish it was only, 100 times that much. I mean, it's just so ridiculous what they're doing. That was the dry run. You could see it coming. And I'm going, I am not going to be able to stop these guys. I mean, how do you stop them? Do I got, more green fees and hookers for congressmen than they do? Oh, man, they got them. They're on staff. They're 1099, man. If not, freaking Secretary Day, whatever. It's kind of like, New Zealand. They call them sexretarias. You could hire a woman based on, there's going to be like a relationship involved so that they could have whatever. New Zealand, check it out. I wasn't allowed to. My wife will let me. So the thing is, I'm going, all right, let's change the culture. Let's change the people. Let's create an environment, and I would literally say this, so that they're laughed at and hissed at and, and ooh, and get away and cooties at the checkout counter at 7-Eleven. I mean, it's not until then, that we're going to be able to get, because they get all the money, they get everything else. They might as well, they get the accolades, and ooh, I'm a senator, why give them that too? They took everything else. I'm like, no, ew. I break with thee, and you throw dog poop on their shoes. You guys know where that comes from. So you hear it's a Steve Martin thing. There's an old Steve Martin thing. It was really how he breaks up with girls. You know you're broken up with a girl when you throw dog poop on their shoes 3 times. I mean, that'll do it. So I use a lot of rock and roll references too, when I do my rejoinders on my show and everything. And YouTube was like, oh, you're going to get, your charge. We're going to do an advertising, your MPAA, and you're violating copyrights. You're doing that. I'm going, so let me get this straight. I can't be creative and give some classic rock and roll its due when, nobody else is, well, they're probably still listening to it, because I helped. I quantitative reality it into existence by me playing it all the time. So what happened was they said that, and I go, no, we're going on Vimeo. So we left, and we go over here, and then we went to Blip, and then we went to, wherever the heck we are now. It doesn't matter. And we have the video servers on Freedom's Phoenix right now for us to do it ourselves, but as long as they'll hold the content, I don't care. When they don't, screw you. I'm not capitulating to you, threatening me on how to socially and economically engineer my right to express myself. I'm just not going to do it, and I'm not into this IP thing, So they penalize you. You can see from these kind of things, these choices, they socially and economically engineer you into a certain direction. They get you thinking a certain way. And you can see it happen. And my friend Barry Hess, he's a candidate. Always, he's going like into the 4th time to run for governor as the Libertarian candidate for governor. Well, they got to go up against Barry. And he gets up there, slap, and then with a smile on his face, we're having fun, and he'll slap, and the moderator, slap, and then you at the end of the campaign, he gets to be the hero. He gets, 5 to 7, 8%, which is, oh my God, for libertarians, and the audience got educated. And the next election cycle, they come back with something else. The next election cycle, they come back with, what he said, with a little bit of fascism. I mean, we got to have some fascism, We don't want to totally, be unfascist. We can't have that. So with all this stuff in mind, I want to give you a story, and hopefully I can do it in like 5 minutes, and we get the questions, about how we took these concepts and used the power of just voluntary interaction to create something that I think we're going to resurrect with Freedom's Phoenix a little bit, and to help with LRN using their satellite and so on in the show and everything. Because I think Rural America is an untapped leader, not just by numbers or how many people are awake or not. It's more than that. It's their conviction in their beliefs. And what the other masses have to be convicted of or even think about something, or the reason they would support an ideology or whatever, is based on no reason. There's no evidence. We got NSA doing all their tapping stuff, and I'm like, I had a guy on the show when the thing broke, is Shahid Buttar, the Bill of Rights Defense Committee at Washington, D.C. Did you know, Ernie, that? Then I go to my wife, she's producing it off camera, and I go, honey, Shahid said that, that Verizon is tapping on tape. She goes, I thought they were doing that anyway. I go, yeah, see? I'm going, I don't care. Supreme Court, last night, the Supreme Court ruled 5-4 to be able to, if you didn't actually openly assert that you were asserting your Fifth Amendment rights by saying you were asserting your Fifth Amendment rights, then by just being talking and not claiming them, then you don't get to assert it as your Fifth Amendment not to speak and incriminate yourself because you didn't say anything. So you don't get to say that. What? I got to say something to say I'm not going to say anything? Is that how that works? Supreme Court. Why are we paying attention to these people? Knowing that the government was going to be bad, knowing this, what would you do? You're looking at the future when your grandkids are coming up. It's 20, 25 years in the future. Your kids are going to start having kids. It's grandma and grandpa, what did you do when? You know, and you're wanting to enjoy them. It's just in my self-interest. You know, heck, they're just lucky I enjoy them enjoying being with me. I mean, because it's all about me. I just know that the only way that I can have freedom for me is to advocate it for everyone. I want to be nice to me, to be nice to them. I mean, you know, my show's not dark. I'm like, there's a lot of bright lights out there. And what we did is we go, everybody that has an idea, you know, peaceful, not whatever, I just trust the people. You file an initiative in the state of Arizona, and I'll do a newspaper, and we'll run it for years. And we'll call it CTI, Citizens Take an Initiative. And it was all the ideas that would come out of places like PorcFest. And you go, welfare reform in the state of Arizona, it would be this. Unrestricted concealed carry, fully informed jury stuff, rescinding of all these kind of pledge crap and everything to the federal government. We would have education, you know, the homeschooling bills and so on. Deregulation of health care. The dental hygienist didn't have to work under a dentist. Can I please clean somebody's teeth with, you know, stuff I got in like my pocket? I mean, you know, seriously? You know, these were the kind of concepts that we put out there. And all of a sudden, 3, 4, one year we did, it was the 94 cycle, I think we did 36 initiatives. And there was only probably 15 people that sponsored them. Like I'd have like 3 or 4 or 5 or something, right? And then other guys would have, you know, 3 or 4 or 2, or this guy had 1. And they got to express themselves. Because the newspapers, they didn't give you one little lick of attention unless you got a government number. And the government number was that initiative that you file with the state. We got permission to report on this. They got the government number. So here comes Arizona Republic. Here comes the television station. Here comes the radio. I go, seriously? That's it? It's a government number? I got government numbers coming out my ass, okay? I got a government number, arrest me at this thing. I got a government number, no, am I being detained? I got a government number, you know, for filing on, the law says they have to and they didn't, and we file suit. Civil act, drop a hat. I have 3 cases go to the federal court. I argued before the 9th Circuit Court of Appeals myself. Now, I'm not an attorney. They said, and it says right here, and it says very clear what it says, and all you lawyers be blah, 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 it says and done, and I've been arguing and it says. And they go, yeah, we don't care. And I go, I know. But I just wanted everybody get that? They don't care. Okay, well, we're good. Peace out. We go do the Bank One ballpark, they called it. It was a Diamondback Stadium. You know, I'm going up against Frank Colangelo. You know, I think it was Frank Colangelo that owned the Phoenix Suns, right? He's going to bring in the baseball franchise because your penis is not large enough if you don't have a baseball stadium. That's exactly what they were saying. Well, you lack cultural diversity. The city of Phoenix is culturally, you know, a wasteland because you don't have guys running around and hitting balls and stuff. And you got a taxpayer fund this thing for the tune of $300 million, which was like real money back then, okay? So, I mean, you know, it's just kind of crap. So we'd file suit. And then opening day, you know, and they go through. Well, we already kind of did it, and you probably got a lot that's right here, but, you know, screw you and the taxpayer, and we're going to do it anyway. Then years later, it's 4, 5, 6, 10 years later, I get lawyers coming up to me and friends I meet, and they go, that's you? Because they take what do they call it, annual required education, you know, their recertification stuff. And they have cases that they go, and one of them is Hancock versus McCarroll, which was the county clerk of the county. It was so obvious what they were doing. I wanted to paper the record. I wanted to make it obvious. Everybody looky see. We good? We on record? Peace. And you might have got it in an email. And you might have saved it, you know, in a box. And you might even have scanned it in like we're doing with a lot of the stuff. But, you know, I'm telling you, it's not like it is now. You say something, do something, you put something, it's there forever something, okay? I go, in 2010, after the 2008 election, they were doing these Tea Party things, and they want me to go do the Tea Parties. Ernie, come talk at the Tea Party. You know lay hands, the Lovolution guy, we're going to lay hands on the Tea Party, all right? All right. I get up and put this thing on. Well, if I was going to be elected president, I'd do that and say, you're free, I'm going golfing. I mean, that's like the most. That was always my fantasy. Anybody, I just love somebody get up there and go, you're free, I'm going golfing. Nobody's paying attention anyway. Nobody showed up in my inauguration. So that's what I'm shooting for. But I go like this. God, man, I went off on a tangent and I forgot where I was. That's a test for you guys to see if you guys know where I was. The lawsuit.
Yeah, which one? Hancock versus Carroll.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens is we have these lawsuits. Thank you. We have the. Oh yeah. Thank you. It's like the YouTube. It gets a glitch and it goes. Okay, then I'm there. All right. Hey, man, I'm at PorcFest. I'm on vacation. Get over it. So they want you to lay hands on them, right? So you get up there, and the first thing you say, because that's, you got Congressman What's-His-Face and Clear Channel talk show host What's-His-Name, and all these guys, and you get up there and you go, hey, first thing, I just want to make sure that there are thousands of people out here. I don't have anything to do with any of these people. But let me tell you a story. So you tell them a story, you talk to them about whatever, but I want to make it very clear because, and in my speech, what did I say? I go, when John Shattuck, I ran against him 3 times for Congress. John Shattuck, U.S. Congress, right here, voted against the TARP, then voted to bring it back because somebody that voted against it could be the only person that could reintroduce it. That's how they did that. Somebody had to fall on the sword, man. Woo-hoo! Bam! John Shattuck raises his hand. I can do it for the something. Give me a chance, right? So I know his mind, the long stories. But anyway, so he goes in, he brings back the TARP they voted in. We did signs that said, national socialization of the economy isn't fascist, ... When I do it, John S. Shattuck. I told him, I will brand your ass with a swastika. Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? Hey, man, command came from on high, whoever the hell that is. And we got national socialization of our economy. But I don't give a shit what they say or do. What happens? All of a sudden, you start doing Bitcoin, you start doing silver, you start doing gold. You start bartering, you start exchanging, you start creating. Joby Weeks is doing his own freaking currency in Colorado. I mean, I remember they started Berkshire or whatever in freaking Pennsylvania, right? I mean, there's a Shire thing, years ago, we were covering on Freedom's Phoenix. So this is, I already see this coming. Here it goes. But are we ready for that? And what we did with all the initiatives that we filed is we just put a beacon, a torch, a Lady Liberty thing out there, and people flooded in. Man, you're about unrestricted concealed carry? Wow, you're about education, freedom, homeschooling? Wow, you're about deregulation of medical care? You're about marijuana, fully informed jury? You see my point? And all of a sudden they're coming in, they're starting to see that the libertarian philosophy, they had all these things on their plate because it was the same theme. Just leave me alone. So when you got that power behind you and you see the power of doing this kind of stuff, that's why I'm so supportive of people that actually, quantum reality. I'm just getting my wife after, 20, it'll be 28 years, I think. Okay. Damn it, I always got in trouble. It's always YouTube. She goes and watches them, and I get the dates wrong. That makes our child, So I'm like, all right, whatever. Anyway, so, and where was I? Oh, yeah. See, you're going to freaking get I got some silver here. You want some? I think I do. We'll work it out. You guys want it, you better get better. So, all right, we'll work it out. Come see me. Smart guy, you win. So what happens is, the quantum reality is, I described to my wife, I go, if you can conceive something, and I'm thinking 20 years in the future, I'm thinking grandkids. I'm thinking relaxing, chilling, vacation, or hell, I live on the beach with the sand wafting up on my toes with the water and me smoking a whole shitload of ganja every freaking day. Okay? And I don't have nothing to worry about, nothing except making sure that my children and grandchildren and friends are okay, that I did my part, that I'm, you're always welcome here. Okay? I do that, I freaking win. I win. No. It's not a car, house, whatever. It's just, just being able to be at peace. I'm a man of peace. I just want to be left alone. I just want to, have a peace of mind that comes with peace. That's what I want. So I work for that, and I strive for that, and I see that on the horizon. I kind of go that way. But I'm not, they go, well, it's kind of the general direction. We'll be compromised a little bit over here, and it kind of, no. I just know not the compromising thing. You own yourself or you don't. I mean, you may, pay your tribute to the soldier that comes up and, kiss the ring whenever so you don't, die. But I'm not going to give him my mind. They go, when they come to your door and they want all the guns in the house and they come in and take them, you're just going to let them have them like everybody else. Yes, I am. All that they know about. Yeah, I think there's another one up there. And I got some ammunition kind of buried over here, You make sure you get all that. You son of a bitch. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? No, I did not. Whatever I do, this is my wife's fantasy, is Braveheart, okay? Braveheart. When the man came after and slit his wife's throat, I know what you're going to do, right? In a peaceful way. Because it's more effective. What if you really wanted to cause them pain? What if you really wanted to get them? What if you really wanted to do them the most damage? With love. That is the power. It's like a big giant freaking arrow in your quiver. It's like, and a lot of that is why humor is so powerful. It puts you in a more, defenseless. You're not scared. You're not, I tell you, well, hell, look at Jon Stewart and Colbert. I mean, what kind of impact do they have on delegitimizing the state? Especially after they're legitimizing it, and then they get really, 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 okay, I guess they're really, really, really bad, And I'm going, oh, my God. So I just want to encourage you that, let everybody participate. We are going to be doing a newspaper again. I think that's what, because we're getting rural Arizona. I just came from a festival this last weekend, and they listened to LRN on satellite. And these are a crowd that you would not think, they're just like any Freedom Radio. That's how we know you, Ernie. And I go, you listen to other stuff? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, yeah, but, it's, we'll listen. So I'm going, okay. So I'm talking to Ian. They got it for another 3 years. They got it funded. So I'm going to start reaching out to the rural, population. But it's going to be more of a universal. It might be centered at least kind of in Arizona, maybe a little bit on their counties. But it'd be a template that, Pennsylvania could follow, or something like Surf City and Manhattan. They're doing good work there. They already kind of got that from us doing it back in the 90s. So this is, we're going to get active. And I don't want, everybody's, like the preppers and survivalists, they want to come together. They want to, we got to come, our collective's got to be bigger than their collective, go kick their ass and their collectivism with our collective. And I'm going, yay, I want to be in your club, okay? So I'm not about that. I'm about, just a movement, a philosophy, a way of thinking. And it's just, and I see it coming. The solutions are coming from the youth and the young, and they're just like, yeah, I break with thee up here. That's all it takes. All these guys, yeah, we're protesting, and they're wrapping the orange net around us, and they're yanking us off, and they're doing, and we win, and, I'm like, yeah, there's a time for that. It's when it changes people's minds. It's when it exposes something. It's not when you got some inarticulate cause that somebody is, it's because they're rich and we're not, and let's go kill somebody. I mean, it's just, that's nonsense. So that's why you get guys like James Babb to go to the Philly Occupy and just give them what for. Hey, man, we're just here to, like, you're not too hot, too cold, got your cell phone charged and battery powered, and you got some water, and we love you. And oh, yeah, here's the truth over here in case you cared. I mean, So this is the kind of activism. Now, I want to hear from you guys, or you have questions, but I want to hear some, where people are going. What are they going to take with this philosophy? Where are you going with it? Is it to create more of you, or is it to have an impact on society and whole as a flavor? That you're the representation. I mean, that was the power of Gandhi and Christ and whatever big name you can put in there. Had a lot of gazillions of billions of people listening to what they had to say. I mean, what was it always? It was always around peace. It was always around violence, not making you shut down and get defensive. Open your mind to the truth. What is that? Well, we need the freedom to find that and to live it and experiment with it. If you advocate that, if you take that, create that reality, that quantum reality, I go to my wife, I'm going, if you think that and you want that and you take a step advocating for that, all of a sudden you see the path straight to it. It is not over here or there. It's always it's always non-initiation of force. It's always voluntary cooperation. It's always voluntary temporary alliances. It's always, be nice unto them so you're like happier. for 5 gazillion trillion reasons. So this is what over a period of, I'm 52 now, been doing this 25 years and so on, I want to share with whoever will listen, young people and on the radio show and everything, that it's not love out of weakness. It's not love out of fear. It's not love out of, envy or you want something, you're trying to get something. It's love out of it's in your self-interest, no matter how bad they get. It is the most powerful weapon against them. They hate it the most, and you just need to make sure you videotape it. So them, you loving on them while they're loving on you, but sometimes, it gets down to a point to where, there was a caller last night on Free Talk Live, now we'll get to your questions, and the guy was like, yeah, well, I have guns, and I advocate for everybody to get guns, but I don't feel safe carrying one with me. I go out, it's legal, but I just think 2 guns, make a more violent, situation, and I could use my mind to get my way out of this, and it's probably worth my wallet not have to kill somebody, so I'm good. And I'm going, that's about the best argument I think you could have. My daughter-in-law is that way. I choose not to add this element to that situation as she's, 4'10", And I'm like, okay, So this is, but that's what I want is the freedom to choose. I want the freedom to make the decision really clear. I want the freedom to have it, and I don't even have to pull it. Okay, maybe I'm willing to take one shot in the arm and he runs off with my stuff so I don't have to kill somebody. Because this revolution, I call it a love-volution. It's all about the love. Most of you guys know that I did the Ron Paul Revolution logo, right? That kind of, okay. For those that don't know, I did that. But the thing is that why was it popular? In 2006, we were using it for one of my campaigns for Secretary of State. But the other sign, Lovolution, the other sign was still voting with a question mark, and the V in voting was a V for vendetta. I'm like, you're still voting? Well, which one got voted most popular in the newspaper? Well, they didn't see this other sign. Of all the signs, it's still voting one. Everybody's like, hell yeah, what he said. But I knew what was really more popular was the Lovolution, because everybody wanted that on their phone. They wanted it on their laptop. They wanted it on their front window door of their kind of, I already knew what was going to happen, because love is in here in the people. And if you give them the chance to express it, they will. There was no vandalism. There was no graffiti. There was no initiations of violence. The worst that the entire empire got after they bombed all these millions of people. They put so many children as orphans and as dead. And all the wars, all the blah, 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 all the crap that they did. And the worst they got from us was a snowball fight on Sean Hannity in New Hampshire. For all that, and they go, oh my God, he threw a snowball on. They're evil, violent people. I'm just, you guys are so funny. So this is the kind of activism that I encourage. If you're not having fun at it, doing this kind of stuff, then you're doing it wrong. And I just want to take any questions. I don't really have any more to say. So anything you want, I don't know how much I have more time. So we got like 15 minutes for you guys to just ask me a question or make a comment or tell us about what you guys are doing. Anybody? Go. You're sitting in front row. Front row always has something to say, man. What do you want?
I just want to have some fun before I auger it into the grave.
You have the freedom to, I'm sorry. He wants to know, he goes, I just want to have some fun and be free before I die and, be left alone to do that. And that's, amen. And I tell you, my main thing is that it's grandkids. You know how much pleasure I get in getting to see the same crap that you already know what's going to happen? I already know where this goes, and you kind of nudge it a little bit and say and do. But I tell you one thing that I'm glad to see more of, and I think it really has an impact. And it's good to have grandparents have more patience to do this kind of thing. Where we would spank, the next generation is not so quick to the spanking thing anymore. And I see that. There's times that I'm like, oh man, woo, we woodshedding today, boy. I was saving this up for this. You're going to get introduced to a new, maybe. I don't know. So I was kind of like that. But my grandchildren, they may have gotten some swats every now and then, just because of emergency kind of stuff. But it's the timeout thing. They're not learning violence from home. They're starting to kind of, we're going to reason a lot. There may be causes, there's retribution for things. There may be reaction. But the main thing is that I'm going to I'm going to try and teach them peace, and we're going to see if we can reason at a young age. So we had kind of a thing going with that. But I tell you this, if you want to get any satisfaction, you just know that they hate timeouts way more than getting their ass whipped. I mean, they scream bloody, let me out! Ah! I'm in the closet! You know, I mean, they're in their room, you know. But they're, you know, they're oh man, life is going on somewhere and they're not in the middle of it, and damn. I mean, they are deprived. So that if that gives you any satisfaction, I'm not sure. I think a quick, swat a lot of times would save them the freaking stress. Oh my God, I feel so bad for them as they're screaming. But so if we can instill the love in the future, I think we're going to be a lot better off. And it's to our own personal self-interest. Because to do otherwise just kind of feeds into their thing. The old Star Trek episode. You guys remember that? The Klingons and them, they're fighting, going off into space on the Enterprise, and there's this entity that feeds on hate. And they're fighting, and then they get slaughtered, and they're down, and their arm would come back, and they get up, and they start fighting more. And they know they're just enraged. They got all this testosterone going, and they're building bands of, this half of the ship belongs to this half, and they're going, and they're just going to kill into eternity. But then it takes the Vulcan. You know what I think? I think it's feeding on hate. You might try love as a weapon from a Vulcan. See my point? Well, I'm trying love as a weapon, and I don't got to be Vulcan. Yeah, go ahead.
First off, ladies and gentleporks, the microphones that we've just been urged to use, there's one here, there's a second one on the other side. So, all right, come up if you wish to speak. Ernie, you've been assembling tools at your little hacker space next door. Hey, I've got the stuff, come in and use it. But you've also said a whole bunch of times that I'm showing you how, go off and do your own things. How many child projects have actually been spawned from people using your hackerspace, going off and doing their own thing?
My hackerspace? You mean my lab? No, you mean Freedom's Phoenix?
You've got a whole bunch of
my
tools
hacker.
built
Oh, you
together.
mean the workshop with
Yes.
all the? Okay. See, we have a lot of things. You got to be more specific, man. What he's talking about is the Freedom's Phoenix workshop. Over the years, all right, I'll just tell you how we acquired all the equipment. In 1994, the newspapers, we knew they weren't going to tell us anything about what was anything for anything. Sure as heck not promote anything that we do without government number. I got sick of getting government numbers. So we just go, we need to be able to create our own press. So one of the guys bought, for $5,000, I think it was, this is a crap load of money, he got this AB Dick 360 printing press, a plate maker, and a folder, okay? We found it through a guy that, whatever. So we have volunteers and everybody. We get this thing going. We're cranking out stuff for the Libertarian presidential election cycle for Rick Tompkins versus Harry Brown on don't take federal matching funds, whatever. So we're getting right into national politics right away with this thing. We're doing a bunch of local stuff. Every meeting that we had, every rally that we had, we're taking our guns for a walk in the park or the rest stop or whatever because they say you can't. We knew the law didn't say that, and you're 11 o'clock at night, and you're somebody's wife, you're somebody's mother, you're somebody's girlfriend, daughter, and you're out on the road, and you got to go to the bathroom, and you pull in the rest stop, and the sign says, leave your gun in your car. It's illegal to take it out. And okay, well, I'll leave it in. You got your panties around your ankles, you're sitting in the stall, it's 11 o'clock at night in the freaking desert, and a guy comes in with a knife, a rope, and whatever, and he says, you're mine, bitch, and he's right. And we go, are you effing kidding me? And the law doesn't even say that? Oh, everybody take your gun for a visit to the park. We want to have some hot dogs. So here comes all the media, but when do we time it? The weekend before the legislative session opens. Oh, I'm with them. Woohoo! Yeah, we go freedom. I mean, it's this kind of activist stuff. And we used a printing press to distribute that we were doing this to the media. You had a printed flyer. Oh my God, this is 93, 4, whatever. You take and you do to the gun ranges and so on, and issues like this and stuff like that. Then we had, we added a silk screen thing that we can make T-shirts. Like I didn't make this one. All the other ones I do. My wife got me this one at this rally, last this weekend. She wanted me to wear it, so there it is. It's made up of stuff. So we had the newspaper that we farmed out to other people. We have the 3 11-stack duplicators that we make between 300 and 500 DVDs an hour. And we have 30,000 blanks for when anybody pisses me off. Boom! You go to Taryn's tent over there. We have some, it's up when I'm doing the radio show. Up on the table, I have these free DVDs, and I'll give them to you. And it has like editions of our magazine, 23 of the last 25 editions. And the other one is a safe one. When Sandy Hook happened, we fired that thing up and got thousands out. And it was all about guns. But it was from JPFO, Jews for Preservation of Firearm Ownership, to where you have, why they were racist, why they were anti-Semitic, why they were this, why they were that, because gun laws were about controlling people. Minority, now they just want to control everybody. So this is the kind of stuff that we do. It's activism. And you were next.
Yeah, is this on? Yeah. So each one of us has part of the puzzle about how to solve this, right? And things in our communities are becoming more and more flammable. So we can be the spark to make things happen in our own community. So on Saturday at 5 o'clock, I'm going to lead a discussion, so it's because it's participatory, on contagious activism. Training the trainer. How each of us can be the trainer, set things up in our own area. It's time to kick it into the next gear.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
You talked about love out of self-interest. You don't love for other reasons. You love because it's best for you.
Oh, hell yeah.
And it also happens to.
Clear on that anyway?
Yeah,
Okay.
but as a byproduct of your love, others, it's good for others as well. But what about
whatever.
But who gives a shit about that? But what about when you're trying to convince someone to love out of self-interest, and they have been conditioned so much to believe that self-interest is a sin?
You love them more. Okay, this is the point. This month.
Oh, hey, wait. Could I just?
Go ahead.
Also, I wonder if you could, after you talk about that, if you could briefly mention about distribution channels for printed materials, DVDs, CDs, how you get them out as well.
Go to all the events. Occupy Wall Street. We go to Occupy Wall Street and the Tea Parties, and they go, Tea Party people go, I can't believe you go to Occupy Wall Street, damn it, hippies, and you go and they don't, and they're crapping on cars, and you're giving them like truth and shit. Why are you doing that to them, And then you have the progressive guys saying, you're the Tea Party people? Oh my God. You're going to, why would you? They don't know, blah, 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 blah. I go, we go to these events for the same reason we go to any one of them, is because there's a shitload of people there. And they want to know something, especially when it's political. You're going to give them something they know that the other guy at the water fountain doesn't know. I know this. Did you hear the blah, blah, blah? I mean, they always go to me and they say, Ernie, they go, do you believe in this conspiracy or that conspiracy or that conspiracy? I mean, how many of you guys got conspiracy? Everybody's, wanting you to do. They go, what do you think about this conspiracy? I go, I don't look at it the way you guys do. And I got my opinion, but, I don't want to get into the whatever the hell it is they're going to say. So I go, let me tell you what my opinion is. If there is anything that these sons of bitches can do to maintain their control, enhance their influence over your life, to get you socially or economically engineered to do whatever the hell it is they want you to do, if they can, if it technically is physically possible, what possible reason would you think that they aren't? Why would you think that? This NSA thing was a big deal. Oh, I'm going, well, you knew they could, right? Well, then, idiot, they are. Seriously. You're thinking, they wouldn't do that. That would be wrong. We wouldn't do election fraud. That would be wrong. We wouldn't murder people and, carpet bomb countries. That would be wrong, So I'm just going, oh, come on. It's not them we got to change. It's us. It's us. Go ahead.
I listen to a lot of content, primarily through podcasts, and out of everything I listen to, you by far have the highest level of energy, that's the most consistent, and I love that because it infects you and it kind of makes you more motivated, but I also hear that burnout is very, very popular for activists. You don't seem to suffer from that, have you? And if so, how have you overcome it?
I am so glad you asked that question. Because I go to the young people, they get all excited. You know who they are. Hell, you probably, most of them. I know the truth. This is the truth. You need to listen to the truth. We tell you the truth. Oh, my God, if you don't believe in the truth, you won't have the truth. You guys know like this. How many of you guys are like that, So So the guy's kind of go, whoa, 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 holy shit, it's like a Memorex commercial, you know? So I'm going, you know, what I want you to understand is the way I do it on my show, and I've always done it. And fortunately, this has drawn a lot of people that are kind of supportive of this. They don't feel that they're making a bad investment. They don't feel that they're going to be embarrassed or ashamed that they're closely associated with you. You're endorsed by a lot of people that you respect, that they endorse you. A lot of them, they may not like you, you're not doing what they want to do or whatever. You know, screw it. You know, am I evil? Am I doing anybody any harm? I mean, it may not be a big in my cheering column, but at least you're not like kill Ernie Hancock. I mean, you know, so I vote that, you know. So I want my children to be to where they're brought up that I left them a good name. So I go to all these young activists that come in and they get all caught up in it. And they come, woo, I saw what was coming too. And I see them burning. There's no way they can keep up this pace. I was amazed at the pace that was kept up through the entire 07-08 presidential campaign for Dr. Paul. I was shocked, but not surprised. You could see it. You know, I mean, I'm like, whoa, it hit me. It just slapped me. And I went, whoa, man, wow. But I kind of figured that was coming. And I always say this phrase. I go, it won't happen all at once, but it will happen overnight. I mean, it's just like, you know, you can see it on the rise. You see the glow. You see, you know, the sun's probably going to come up. It's sun's right there. And you find out you're on Krypton or something, and the sun goes, bam! I mean, holy crap. You know, man, what planet was I on? And that's what happens. But it always happens that way. It always happens that way. So I always go to these young guys and I say, look, you must pace yourself to the point that you take care of your personal life. You're responsible for your own breathing in and out, feeding. You want to live in a tent down by the river, in a van down by the river, okay? You know, you want to do that? Peace, man. You know, barter and it's getting more possible. Hell, some vehicles living down by the river would be an improvement on just about everywhere else I lived, you know? So I'm just going, you know, I'm looking for that river. So I'm going, you know, this is, you got to be able to take care of yourself and your family and your responsibility for your children and your bills and whatever. Don't get bills. And I mean, you know, feed yourself right and don't advocate for violence and don't be a bad guy and just kind of don't be an add to the planet rather than a subtraction. You got to be a big add, you know, to everybody's life, but you can't be a subtraction to anybody's life. You know, there's all that hermit that kind of sort of almost, you know, he entertains me by me even knowing he's there. You win, man, you know, whatever. So that is what I shoot for. That's the pace at which you need to work. As long as you can live a life that you can sustain yourself and however you want to represent that and what you do, how you act, where you spend your extra time, your money, how you ever do that to show that you're a man of peace, you're a woman of peace, that you're going to perpetuate that into the next generation, that you're peaceful. Does that make you the first on the list or the last on the list? You're probably on both. There's going to be a probing, a doing, a checking, a testing, a whatever, and then there's maybe they'll leave you alone until what, I don't know. But my experience has been, me being as open in what I do and open up my life, is that I'm kind of the opinion, if you're going to be on the list, it's best to be on top of the list. And I go, hello. You know, so I try and have fun with this, and I keep the energy up because it inspires a lot of people, and in return, you guys inspire me. But I want you to know, man, I've been doing this a long time. I was these young guys. The man is so screwed. They have no idea what's coming. And you know what? Neither do I, but it's that way. Thank you.
Why do we sit down when all should be standing? And why do we back down at the critical moment, like running away from the waves of the ocean? We head for the hills with the high tide approaching, as sand slips away from the castle. When it's time to stand upright, why do we falter, like placing our freedom on the sacrificial altar? We hold tight to our fears and defend our oppressors as we fight for their lives and become the transgressors, as pacifists transform